Okay, a very crucial scene, and for those of you who are going to be thinking about utilitarianism, this is really the scene that you wanna focus on. Now, I want you to think about Malcolm's situation. So he's in England, and Macduff shows up, and so he has to figure out whether he's going to trust Macduff or not. So, is Macduff a traitor or is he not? And so this scene is really about how Malcolm devises a particular scheme to verify that Macduff really is in support of Scotland and not of Macbeth. So let's look at a couple of these lines that are crucial so we can kind of see what's happening. So in this case, we've got lots of imagery of the tragic landscape that's just classic, right? Widows are howling, so the division of the family. New orphans cry, new sorrows. So children are abandoned. Lots of all this unideal imagery. And then in this case, Malcolm is saying to Macduff, well, Macbeth was once thought honest, you've loved him, but maybe you're here to sacrifice me. And that's Macbeth. And, Macduff is like, well, I'm not treacherous. He's trying to convince Malcolm that he's on his side. But Malcolm is persisting here. A good and virtuous nature. So good people may change because of power. Right? And then we've got an allusion to, I'll let you figure that out, a particular angel that fell. Okay. So then he is also asking Macduff, why did you leave your wife and children? So if it was so dangerous, right? And again, this is a different ethical system Macduff is acting out of. He's choosing the greatest good. So the means can be somewhat shaky, unlike deontology or natural law or virtue ethics. Here you're willing to deal with some level of evil. So Macduff is getting a little pissed here. Hey man, I'm not the scoundrel you think I am. And now Malcolm is going to go into his test. Right? Again, we've got some imagery, wounds, the disease motif, which is very consistent throughout the play. But he says here, there's going to be more suffering by him that shall succeed, Malcolm. So he's creating this portrait of himself, and he wants to see how far he can push Macduff, right? How much evil can he withstand for the sake of saving Scotland? So Macduff's like, what are you talking about? And Malcolm's like, well, it's me. And compared to Macbeth, Macbeth is going to seem pure as snow. He's going to seem like a lamb compared to me. So Malcolm's got to create this portrait of himself that is so evil and vile that he's waiting to see if Macduff is just going to leave, or is how much evil can he, how much means, in a sense, utilitarian, can he take in order for the greater good to come about. So he's questioning Malcolm. He's not buying it yet. So then this is the first aspect of the portrait, that basically he's a horny dog. He's filled with lust. He's going to rape all the women. And so what's interesting, what happened? Yeah. Is Macduff's response. Balance and temperance in nature is a tyranny. He recognizes that this excess is flawed, but he concedes. We've got plenty of women. You can't be that, lustful, right? You can't be that horny. We can take care of this problem. And so Malcolm has to increase the evil. So he says now he's greedy, and he compares it to a sauce. He has an appetite, and he's going to destroy all the nobles, their wealth. And so, again, he's trying to test Macduff. How far will he go? And Macduff is still not ready to leave. He says this is more problematic. It's worse than lust. But, he says, we've got plenty of money. So, notice he graces weighed. This is a very utilitarian language. He's weighing things. So then Malcolm has to pull out, in a sense, the full power of his evil. And he just lists all these virtues. Very famous listing. And he says, I don't have any of them. None of them. And this pushes Macduff. This pushes his calculus. Right? He's like, forget it. You're not even fit to govern. And this is what Malcolm is waiting for. He wants Macduff to leave. Right? So if Macduff is a traitor, he's not going to leave. He's just going to say, yeah, this is fine. But if he's not a traitor, and he does have some breaking point in terms of virtue, then he's going to leave. And this is what is letting Malcolm realize, he really is for Scotland and not for Macbeth. And this is what he explains. So Malcolm steps out of it at this point, and he tells him that, hey, Macbeth has been sending lots of people to try to win me. But notice this, modest wisdom, rationality. So now, in the play, reason is beginning to emerge. It plucks me from overcredulous haste, which is the emotion. So he is not, like Macbeth, eating upon the insane root that takes the reason prisoner. And so Malcolm says, basically, I made all this stuff up. It's not like me. I'm a virgin. I'm not greedy. I have stayed faithful. The first time he's committed a lie was just now, and he's dedicated to his country. And he's telling Macbeth that there are 10,000 soldiers now on their side. And of course, Macduff is like, well, this is hard for me to take. So we have a little pause in this, and then the doctor comes in, and he's talking about King Edward the Confessor, historically, who is known to be able to heal. So we have all this imagery, again, of disease healed. So the king is a healer. Now, Duncan was a gardener. I have begun to plant thee and make thee full of growing. So notice how Malcolm is going to take these two images of the king, his sort of surrogate father, and his real father, and merge them into his own depiction. And again, we've got disease, and Edward is healing this. How he solicits heaven, this is verse, I can't say amen, right? So we've got these contraries. All swollen, he cures, healing. Okay, this is the portrait of the king. Okay, then the big thing is Ross. Remember, Ross just left Macduff's castle, and he was warning Lady Macduff of a slaughter. Question is, whose side is Ross on? And watch what he does. So we go through the scene, and he gives us some, again, imagery of the tragic landscape. This one, good men's lives expire, in the sense of time. There's no time to heal. And then let's watch what Malcolm asks about what's happening. And Macduff says, well, how's my wife doing? Why, well. And this is a lie. Right? And notice the little trick. No, they were at peace when I did leave them. Yes. Big PR thing. And Macduff is like, tell me what's going on. And he does say there were rumors, right? The tyrant's power afoot. Lots of Macbeth's men were roaming the countryside. But notice what happens here. Watch, this is the key. Malcolm says, we've got 10,000 men. And now Ross is going to tell the truth. Because he switches sides. He hears they have 10,000 men. And now he's on the losing side. So he's going to tell the truth to Macduff. And he finally fesses up. Pains to you. And the truth actually emerges. And again, this is important at the end of the play. Truth and rationality are emerging. And of course, Malcolm's trying to help Macduff deal with his grief. And again, notice this language from the who's going to be king soon. It's healing, right? Basic question, of course, we all ask in every century. Why does God let evil occur? Did heaven look on and would not take their part? And Malcolm is like, turn this grief to anger, right? Sharpen your sword on the grief. And then we have this final image the powers above put on their instruments. The night is long, so darkness is still trying to find light. So we've got the darkness and light imagery. Okay.